What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on PrizePicks today. Now don't forget to like this video as it does let me know to continue to give you free picks every day, so make sure to like this video clicking that button down below, and if we get 600 likes I will do another video for tomorrow. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see we actually got 21 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 2 picks wrong and got 21 right, which is a 95% win rate. Yes guys, you heard that right, 95% win rate. So we are on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 95% win rate and get 21 picks right like me, win more bets, and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $750 just yesterday. Another member who won $520 for the 7th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, a link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout to Cordell Perlo 1998 who said let's go, and also shouts out to Ant Capone 9332 who said we in here. So shouts out to them, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Alright, so let's get straight to the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're talking about is Brandin Williams, and this one is for 3.5 assists, and this one actually is for less. Now looking at Brandin Williams, we have seen him go on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games. Now looking at those 5 games, we see on November 30th, faced off against the LA Clippers, actually had 7 assists there. December 2nd, faced off against Denver Nuggets, had 4 assists there. Then December 4th, faced off against Miami, had 2 assists in that matchup. Then December 6th, faced off against Oklahoma City Thunder, had 7 assists. And then December 7th, faced off against Houston Rockets and actually had 5 assists there. So we have seen Brandin Williams actually go on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games, and his average over the last 5 games is also 5. So pretty interesting to see there. Obviously coming into this matchup, it is definitely going to be an exciting one, but what we also do know when it comes to Brandin Williams, he does play for the Dallas Mavericks, and they have themselves a very good matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. So it is definitely going to be an exciting matchup here. Now looking at where both of these teams do lie, starting off with Dallas Mavericks. Dallas have had themselves a pretty rocky start to the season, but they have been able to try to pull it together as they do currently rank 10th in the Western Conference. They have a record of 9 wins, 16 losses, a 36% win percentage there, and also are 6-9 from home, 3-6 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So very interesting to see there. Now looking at this matchup, we do know that Brandin Williams and also the Dallas Mavericks face off against a Brooklyn Nets team. We're looking at Brooklyn Nets, who are in the Eastern Conference. They actually rank 13th in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 6 wins, 17 losses, a 26.1% win percentage there. And on top of that, they are also 2-10 from home, 4-7 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So very interesting to see there. Now looking at this matchup, we do also know that Dallas face off against a Brooklyn Nets team. Where looking at the Brooklyn Nets, they do actually rank, when it comes to assists allowed, they do actually rank 26th. So Brooklyn Nets do rank pretty poorly. So why do we like the under for this situation here? And a big reason for this is due to the fact that when we look at someone like Brandin Williams, the big reason why we do like the under for this situation here is that when we look at actually the Dallas Mavericks, they do face off against a Brooklyn Nets team that do a fantastic job at restricting assists to the guard position. So we definitely see someone like Brandin Williams going on the under here. Now when we look at Brandin Williams, we do see that he has faced off against much easier teams when it comes to the assist category, but coming into this next one against Brooklyn, we should see a little bit of a different story. Now, Brandin has also seen a little bit of an increase in his usage rate and especially his minutes, but we definitely see that changing, coming into this next one for sure. As over the last 5 games, there has been a couple of injuries, a couple of sit-outs that has definitely increased Brandon Williams' usage rate out there. But we are expecting Brandon Williams' usage rate to actually fall back down a little bit to reality, and we shouldn't see him have such or that much of a bigger role when it comes to the playmaking side of things when it comes to this matchup. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for someone like Brandon Williams there coming into this game. Now, looking at the Brooklyn Nets, it is definitely going to be an exciting one, but we are expecting them to put a lot of that defensive focus and restrict, guards like Brandon Williams from dishing out those assists. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under for this one. So Brandon Williams, 3.5 assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about none other than actually Noah Clowney. Now, as you all know, Noah Clowney, great player. Now, this one is for 4.5 rebounds, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Noah, we actually have seen him go in the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now, this one's an interesting one. November 30th, faced off against Milwaukee Bucks, had 1 rebound there. December 2nd, faced off against Charlotte, actually had 2 rebounds in that matchup. Then December 4th, faced off against Chicago, actually had 7 rebounds in that matchup. Then December 5th, faced off against the Utah Jazz, had 4 rebounds there. And then December 7th, faced off against the New Orleans Pelicans and had 6 rebounds in that matchup. So we have definitely seen Noah Clowney go on the under, as I mentioned, in 3 out of the last 5 games. What we also do know when it comes to this matchup is that Brooklyn Nets face off against the Dallas Mavericks. Now, just to quickly reiterate where both of these teams do lie, starting off with the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets come in at the 13th spot in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 6 wins and 17 losses. That's a 26.1% win percentage there. They're also 2-10 from home, 4-7 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So, very interesting to see there. Now, looking at this, we do know Brooklyn Nets face off against the Dallas Mavericks. And looking at the Dallas Mavericks, we do see that they rank 10th, as we mentioned, with a record of 9 wins, 16 losses. A 36% win percentage, and on top of that are also 6-9 from home, 3-6 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So very interesting to see there. Now, coming into this matchup, we do know that Brooklyn Nets face off against a Dallas Mavericks team that do rank when it comes to rebounds allowed. We do see that Dallas Mavericks come in when it comes to rebounds allowed at the actual 28th position. So they rank pretty low. So why do we like the under for this situation here? Now, a big reason being is that Dallas actually do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds to the big man position, whether that's power forward or whether that's center. And that's definitely due to the fact that when it comes to Dallas, although they haven't really performed that well, they have some great bigs on their side with players like Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, just to name a few, of course. But coming into this next one, obviously Dallas have had some injuries here and there. So even, if we find out one of them are injured or anything of that nature, we still do very much like the under for it, because Dallas does remain to be a great rebounding team when it even comes to Anthony Davis being, out of the game. So, looking at Noah as well, his usage rate has definitely not been there as well. He's definitely been a little bit on the lower side, and that's definitely just due to the fact that he isn't really the main big man or main rebounder for this team. Brooklyn Nets have looked towards other players to do a lot more of the heavy lifting, and that's why coming into this next one, we are definitely expecting a similar sort of outcome for sure. Now, as we mentioned before, when it comes to Noah Clowney, yes, he has gone on the under in, 3 out of the last 5 games. But what we also do see when it comes to Noah is that not only has he done that, but when we actually look at his, usage rate out there on the floor when it comes to rebounds, he doesn't really have that high of a rebounding usage rate out there. Yes, he does get a couple of rebounds here and there, but definitely nothing really too convincing enough to us, which is why we do like the under for it. But I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for this one for someone like Noah Clowney. When we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So all in all, we definitely like the under for this one, and we definitely see it happening once again coming into this game for sure. So Noah Clowney, 4.5 rebounds for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next player, we're actually going to be talking about, unfortunately, the same matchup once again. And like I said, guys, I don't mean to have them all in the same game, but I do want to just show you the best picks, and that is none other than Naji Marshall. So Naji Marshall, great player. Now, as I mentioned, I do want to just show you the best picks out there, and these are some of the best, even though all is from the same game. This for Naji Marshall, 4.5 rebounds, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at someone like Naji, we have seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. We saw on November 30th, faced off against the LA Clippers, actually had 8 rebounds there. December 2nd, faced off against Denver, had 7 rebounds. December 4th, faced off against Miami, had 5 rebounds. Then December 6th, faced off against Oklahoma City Thunder, had 1 rebound there. And then 2 rebounds against Houston Rockets on December 7th. So it's definitely been very interesting to see. Obviously, looking at someone like Naji Marshall, we have definitely seen him do a great job for sure. But what we also do see when it comes to Naji Marshall and the Dallas Mavericks, they face off against a Brooklyn Nets team. Now, we do know where both these teams do lie, so I don't think I need to repeat that again, but I do also just want to quickly mention that when it comes to Dallas, yes, they do actually rank 10th in the Western Conference, but their record over the last 10 games have actually been 5-5. So that was just over the last 10. And then when it comes to Brooklyn Nets, they come in at the 13th spot in the Eastern Conference, record of 6-17, but their record over the last 10 has actually been 4-6. So, it has definitely been interesting to see there. Now, looking at this matchup more in depth, we do also know when it comes to Brooklyn Nets, when it comes to rebounds allowed, we do see that Brooklyn Nets, looking at rebounds allowed, we do see them rank 15th. So they actually rank pretty decent when it comes to restricting rebounds to, other teams. They've actually done a great job there. Yes, it is somewhat mid-tier, but that's definitely still enough, because when we look at Brooklyn Nets closer, we do see that they do a great job at restricting rebounds to actually Naji Marshall's position. So that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for this one. Now, when we look at Naji Marshall over the last 5 games, as we've mentioned, we definitely have seen him, do a really decent job in some games. Other games has really struggled in. Obviously, December 6th, faced off against Oklahoma City Thunder, 1 rebound there, and then 2 rebounds on December 7th against Houston. So those are definitely some big key moments. Now, one of the reasons why I do believe we saw that decrease is definitely due to the fact that when we look at Naji Marshall's usage rate, it has definitely fluctuated quite a bit. It's definitely gone on the lower side against much tougher teams, which is what OKC is, what Houston is, and that's why coming into this next one, we are expecting a similar sort of outcome and a similar sort of usage rate for someone like Naji Marshall there. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under. So Naji Marshall, 4.5 rebounds for less, I think is a fantastic pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but PrizePicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Ausar Thompson. So as you all know, Ausar Thompson is a great player for none other than actually the Detroit Pistons, and he's done a fantastic job so far this season, because we've actually seen him average 11.8 points, 6 rebounds, 3.1 assists, and has also had a 51.9% field goal percentage. So he's definitely done a great job there for the Detroit Pistons. Now, when it comes to Detroit, they find themselves in a very good matchup, because the Detroit Pistons and Ausar Thompson does face off against none other than actually the Atlanta Hawks. So it is definitely going to be an exciting game there. Now, looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with actually the Detroit Pistons. Pistons have done a great job so far this season, because they come in at the number 1 spot in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 19 wins, 5 losses. That's a 79.2% win percentage there, and are 10-2 from home, 8-3 from away, and are currently on a 2-game win streak. So they've definitely done a great job there, but when it actually comes to Ausar Thompson, we do know that Detroit Pistons face off against a Hawks team that do actually rank 9th in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 14 wins and 11 losses. That's a 56% win percentage there. And on top of that, they are 4-6 from home, 10-5 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So very interesting to see. Now, obviously, looking at this matchup, we do also know that looking at Atlanta Hawks defense, defensively, we do know that they come in at actually, when it comes to points allowed, we actually have seen them do somewhat of a decent job as they rank 17th. When it comes to assists allowed, we also do see that the Hawks rank somewhat decent as they rank 14th. And then rebounds allowed, we also see that the Hawks come in a little bit lower as they come in at 23rd. So I would definitely say Atlanta Hawks do kind of fall into that sort of mid-range tier when it comes to points, rebounds, and assists. And that's why coming into this matchup, we do very, very much like the over for this one. Now, although in the past we have seen when it comes to Ausar Thompson, his usage rate, I wouldn't say is the highest in any sort of category compared to his other teammates. But what we do know about Ausar is that his usage rate actually remains very, very consistent. So that's why coming into this matchup, we do very, very much like the over for this situation here. When we look at someone like Ausar and also the Detroit Pistons, we do also see when it comes to actually, his last 5 games, we saw on the 30th, he faced off against Miami Heat, had a 138-135 win there with 10 points, 3 assists, 8 rebounds. After that, on the 2nd, faced off against Atlanta Hawks, had a 99-98 win with actually 8 points, 1 assist, 7 rebounds there. Then on the 4th, faced off against Milwaukee, actually faced off against them and had a 113-109 loss with 10 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds there. On the 6th, faced off against Portland, had a 122-116 win with 15 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, and also on the 7th, faced off against Milwaukee again, and actually in that matchup had a 124-112 win with 13 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds there. So it's definitely been very interesting to see. Obviously, looking at someone like Ausar Thompson, we have definitely seen him do a great job for sure. But coming into this matchup, we do very, very much like the actual over for this situation here, even though when they played against each other last time on the Atlanta Hawks on the 2nd of this month, definitely we did see Ausar do a really good job at rebounds, however struggled at assists and points, but we are expecting adjustments to be made and definitely could see a different outcome coming into this matchup. So for that reason, obviously there will be those outlier games that do happen, but now that they do face off again a second time, we should see a little bit of a different story there. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the over for this situation here. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Darius Garland. So Darius Garland, as we all know, has been playing great for Cleveland Cavaliers. He's actually averaged 14 points, 3 rebounds, 6.2 assists, has also had a 35.3% field goal percentage. So he's definitely done a great job for Cleveland. Now, when it comes to Cleveland, they have themselves a pretty easy matchup, no disrespect to them, against the Washington Wizards. So it is definitely going to be an interesting game there. Now, looking at where both these teams do lie, now both are in the Eastern Conference, but Cavaliers have actually fallen quite a bit. Cavaliers were definitely, looking good in the top 3, but they have fallen all the way to the 7th spot in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 14 wins and 11 losses. That's a 56% win percentage there. And on top of that, we also see that he's 9 from 6 from home. They're 9 from 6 from home, 5 and 5 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So definitely very, very interesting to see there. Now looking at actually Cleveland, they face off against none other than the Washington Wizards, where the Wizards is definitely a little bit of a different matchup because the Wizards come in at the 15th spot in the Eastern Conference, and they have a record of 3 wins and 9 losses. So that's a 13.6% win percentage there. 2-8 from home, 1-11 from away, and are currently on a 3-game losing streak. So very, very interesting to see there. Now coming into this next matchup, it is definitely going to be an exciting one. But what we also do know when it comes to actually Darius Garland, we do know he faces off against a Wizards team that do rank, starting off with points allowed, they rank 30th. When it comes to assists allowed, they also rank 30th. And then rebounds allowed, you guessed it, they rank 30th. So unfortunately, Wizards have definitely very much struggled so far this season. They haven't really had the greatest defense as well, and they continue to allow a lot of buckets time in and time again. So that's why coming into this next one, we do very, very much like the over for someone like Darius Garland. Garland is a great player, and he definitely does have a great usage rate in all 3 departments. So that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the over for this situation here. Now, Garland over the last 5 games has also played really, really well. We did see over the last 5 games against LA Clippers on the 24th of last month, had a 120-105 win with 8 points, 8 assists, 1 rebound there. On the 29th, faced off against Atlanta, had a 130-123 loss, and that was a 15-point, 10-assist, 5-rebound game. After that, on the 1st, faced off against Boston Celtics, had a 117-115 loss with 21 points, 8 assists, and also 3 rebounds. Then on the 4th, faced off against Portland, had a 122-110 loss with 6 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. And then on the 7th, faced off against Golden State Warriors, had a 99-94 loss with 17 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds there. So it's definitely been pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at actually Darius Garland, we have seen him definitely do a great job at taking advantage and going on the over, especially against much easier teams. Now, yes, they have been a little bit on a losing streak, but when it comes to Garland's actual, player prop, he's definitely been able to go on the over when needed, especially against much easier matchups. So that's what we are expecting from this game for sure. Now, when we look at Garland as well, when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers and the matchup against Wizards do like to play a fast-paced type basketball. They like to push the pace as much as they can. And coming into this one, we are expecting actually Darius Garland to come into this game and actually go on the over here. Now, a big reason being is that when we actually look at Darius Garland, we do also know that he's also done a great job over the last couple of games to be able, to face off against faster paced teams, and we have seen his usage rate increase. So facing off against, Wizards who do or are a bit more faster pace, as we always mention, more pace leads to more volume and more opportunity to score, rebound, and assist. So coming into this matchup, we do very much like the over for this one. So definitely keep an eye out for someone like Darius Garland coming into this game here. So for that reason, Darius Garland, keep an eye out for his line. If it is under his averages, then definitely look to go on the over. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Brandin Podziemski. So, Brandin Podziemski, great player, as we all know, for none other than the Golden State Warriors. Now, he's done a fantastic job so far this season because we've actually seen him average, 12.5 points. On top of that, also 4.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 44.1% field goal percentage he's also had. Now, he actually ranks 97th in points, 98th in rebounds, 89th in assists, and also 109th when it comes to field goal percentage. So he's definitely done a great job there. Now, when we look at this matchup, we do also know that when it comes to Brandin Podziemski and the Warriors, they do have themselves a really good matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So it is definitely going to be an exciting game there. Now, looking at Brandin Podziemski and the Golden State Warriors, they face off against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and looking at the matchup and where both these teams do rank, starting off with actually the Golden State Warriors. Warriors have actually had a pretty lackluster season, but they have held on, pretty well because they currently rank 8th in the Western Conference. Now, they have a record of actually 13 wins, 12 losses, a 52% win percentage there. They're also 7-3 from home, 6-9 from away, and are currently on a 2-game win streak. So, very interesting to see there. Now, obviously, coming into this matchup, we do also know they face off against a Timberwolves team who do rank a little bit higher because the Timberwolves come in at the 6th spot in the Western Conference. So, not only that, but we also do see is that they actually have a record of 15 wins, 9 losses. That's a 62.5% win percentage there. And on top of that, they are 8-4 from home, 7-5 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So definitely very interesting to see. Now, when we actually look at this, we do also know when it comes to none other than actually Brandin Podziemski, we do know that he faces off against a Timberwolves team that do rank when it comes to points allowed 10th. Timberwolves also rank 9th when it comes to assists allowed, and then 10th when it comes to rebounds allowed. So they rank very well at restricting points, rebounds, and assists. But on top of that, what we also do know is that Timberwolves do a great job at restricting those stats to the guard position as well. So that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for someone like Brandin Podziemski coming into this game. We definitely see him going on the under here due to the fact that when we look at those, recent games, we also have seen that Timberwolves just have really done a great job at restricting guards. So we definitely like the under for someone like Brandin Podziemski here. When we look at his last 5 games, we saw on the 30th faced off against New Orleans Pelicans, actually had a 104-96 win there with 15 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds there. On the 3rd, faced off against Oklahoma City Thunder, had a 124-112 loss with 17 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. After that, on the 5th, faced off against Philadelphia 76ers, had a 99-98 loss with actually 6 points, 0 assists, 6 rebounds there. Then on the 7th, faced off against Cleveland Cavaliers, had a 99-94 win with 10 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds there. And then on the 8th, faced off against Chicago, had a 123-91 win with 21 points, 7 assists, and 8 rebounds there. So definitely been very interesting to see. Obviously, looking at Brandin Podziemski, he has definitely done great in some games, but other games has definitely struggled in. And where we do definitely see him struggle is against tougher defensive matchups. So that's why coming into this next one, we do very much like the under for someone like Podziemski. Podziemski as well, unfortunately, doesn't have the highest usage rate in this team. And we are expecting other players in this Golden State Warriors roster to do a lot more of the heavy lifting when it comes to scoring, rebounding, or even playmaking.